What's good, YouTube? Manipulation Tactics, episode 29, bro. Watch how people react emotionally to just mishaps or news they tell you, or just events, or just watch their reactions when it comes down to reacting emotionally to certain things, because you can probably use it for insight or like prediction on how the shit is gonna go with you if it hits a catastrophic point. You feel me? And up until all the manipulation tactics now, pretty much, I'll be talking about like things that you can do simultaneously to just continue to get data and insight, and then decide what is this going to be. Is this going to be something that you manipulate for connection or utility or some sort of gain, you know what I'm saying? Or is it going to be something that you just choose to back out of, right? And so now we're talking about looking at people's reactions to shit to decide whether you want to back out the shit. Is it something worth maintaining? Like, is this even worth investing the time and like reps you're putting in of manipulation tactics? Pretty much, right? So an example of that would be like, let's say somebody's telling you about a story where some shit happened to them, right? Like, how are they reacting to like how they feel about this story? You know what I'm saying? Do they get mad and then start talking about that person a lot, or start talking about this event and get kind of like maybe like a little bit too negative, like where they're speaking too hatefully or speaking too like with too much resentment or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Or do they like get to a point and they just shut down and they just stop communicating? Like, because that's a big thing for people too. But based on how they like their, I don't want to call it like an emotional climax, but almost like these emotional peaks and lows, you need to watch how they like go about that. How does their like brain and body and voice go about handling that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they get louder? Do they get aggressive? Do they shut down? Like, what the fuck do they do when they get to these peaks and lows emotionally in storytelling, or just in events, or just shit you're living with them? Because ultimately, that'll tell you how it could possibly go if it goes left with this person. And now only you can dictate if it will even get to that point, because you're the one doing all this data insight and collecting to determine what type of person this is, ultimately to decide what to do with it or to do nothing with it, right? So at this point, you're looking at like how they react in highs and lows to see if this goes south, this shit that you're doing. It's like it could go south in this way, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe y'all get into some sort of disagreement and now they're speaking about you how they were speaking about this person in this story, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe when they're retelling the story that they were saying to you, you can see how, like, where they might place you in their storytelling. You feel me? Like, you can kind of like predict how they're gonna carry themselves or just interact when it gets to a point of like high or low of like whatever that is. You feel me? Like, because it could be y'all share like a overly joyous moment, or like maybe y'all share like a negative moment, and then now based on what you've seen, you won't see shit coming as a surprise when it happens in your scenario or situation. You feel me? Because you've been keeping note of the shit or the way that they reacted in other cases. You feel me? And like in my personal experience, it could be some shit like, okay, this person's talking about this topic, right? They get to a certain point in the story where they're kind of like kind of getting like mad. You feel me? Like, so it's like you can assume that if y'all get into something, they will get to a point where they're also getting mad, you know? And it's like, do you really want to interact or keep a relationship with somebody who's like that, or the opposite of somebody shutting down, or like, you feel me? Like, maybe just withholding certain shit or not sharing certain shit. It's like just paying attention to how people act in moments that they hold close to them, whether that be a positive or a negative moment. That's like how they are with their true emotions, because emotions get to a point to where like you can't like hide that shit about how excited you are, or how like pissed off this shit got you, or like, you feel me? And if you notice that out of somebody, you can kind of predict or dictate like how this might go in certain scenarios. And so it's just more data and insight for you. And it pretty much just goes back to letting this person be themselves, letting them express themselves freely. Like, you're just not, you know what I'm saying? You're not like you're not making them feel bad for however they might feel about some shit. And then ultimately, if you do that, they open up more, and then you can see how they acted more in different like when there's just different variables in place for this person, like how do they react? And you can kind of just build like some sort of like chronological like fucking sequence that this person goes through, and that's their pattern. You know what I'm saying? When they get upset, this happens. When they're happy, they act like this. When they're, you feel me? And so if some shit is about to go down in your scenario, after you gain all this data and insight and whatnot, you now also have paid attention to how they act in like highs and lows. You feel me? And it's just more data insight for you to like see shit coming. Because realistically, you just want data insight to decide if you want to continue this relationship for whatever reason, or do you not want to? Feel me? Because you could still continue to do manipulation tactics, like let them be themselves, let them open up and shit. But it's like you can also just back the fuck out. And I haven't made a on singular episode on just backing the fuck out, because that is a manipulation tactic as well. But that's just always an option when you're doing this shit. Like, you don't have to continue to be in this relationship dynamic of it's no longer like adding up. You feel me? Or it's like, nah, it's just too much work for like what I'm getting or some shit. Or you're like, okay, that was enough data collected, let me get the fuck out of here like at the right time. You feel me? But yeah, bro, just pay attention to people's reactions and shit, how they react in highs and lows, and you can predict how that shit will be for you if y'all ever come to some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or God forbid y'all do, you feel me? Because I don't want nobody to have bad interactions with nobody, but that's just the nature of interactions. And most interactions, they really just naturally fade. So it's like back out, naturally fade, or have some sort of catastrophic shit. And you really don't even have catastrophic shit unless you get like deep into some shit. You know what I'm saying? And even then, people just like, that shit just fades a lot. So you could just get the fuck on, and you're just collecting data and insight to decide what you want to do. I mean, but yeah, bro, now we're talking about more shit, like how you can go about all this data and insight and shit that you've gained from this person. And really, it's just, do you want to keep doing this shit for whatever your goal is, or do you want to back out? And a lot of the manipulation tactics in the beginning is more so how to get to a certain point and hold a social leverage and just fucking, you feel me, like just have like a bird's eye view of shit. Because social skills or manipulation tactics, social engineering, like I've said, it's just removing yourself from the conversation so you can objectively have a good conversation that gets somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't always gotta chime in what you think or how you feel or what you want to share and shit. Like, you could just let this person just talk, you feel me? And you just be a good conversationalist and just stay in it, but you don't have to add to it, you feel me? And you just extract from it, pretty much. So it's like, now we're just getting to the point of what you even could do with all this info and this data and shit. I'm trying to like make it a little more general so you can apply it to a lot of shit. But a lot of the tactics in the beginning, if you go watch fucking the earlier before, like the part probably before like the 15th episode, is more so about like how to get to this point. But at episode 29, we're already at the point, you feel me? And it's like, what do you do with it now? Like, do you back the fuck out? Do you continue to do this shit for use? Do you just let this shit, feel me? Because at some point, like I've said in other videos, you gotta understand that you're damn near like running a simulation. So it's not just gonna like, you're just gonna manipulate this shit forever. And if you do, I don't even know what type of life you're living, gang. Like, shit, you finna get bored of that shit, or you finna be like, damn, like this shit, for me, I don't know. Like, ultimately, all this shit's gonna end because you are manipulating, you're running a simulation for this person, you feel me? So it's like, that's why really, when I say what to do with this shit, is like, continue to do it, get the fuck on, or like, the shit has ran its course, you feel me? Manipulation tactics, gang, you can't do that shit forever, twin. That shit crazy. Like, this shit crazy. It's a manipulation. You don't get bored of this shit. But yeah, now we're just talking about like the totality of all this data and insight that you gained and what you can continue to insight and data you can gain to be just in better social positioning and not see shit coming, like, you know what I'm saying, to not see shit coming, like be surprised by shit. But yeah, bro, episode 29, I'm gonna try to think of the next one to make it more like a more specific topic, like maybe go off and on like specifics or not. But y'all let me know any specific shit y'all want to hear, bro. And you know we got a link in the shit for school, bro. If you want some one-on-one shit, consultation to talk about your shit, whatever the fuck, for me. Me and the bros in that bitch pretty much is a group chat. Let me leave your email down there if you want to be in that bitch. I'll get a few little free invites and shit. But yeah, bro. Manipulation tactics, social engineering people, episode 29.